Okay, hi everybody, welcome back to OG Reflections. This is my YouTube channel. I'm an English teacher, a writer, and a thinker, and on this channel I make a lot of content that is hopefully inspirational, motivational, and a little bit educational. Today I'm going to be reading story 3 from my book, A Thousand Thoughts Like Thunder. As we said, it's a book of fiction and it has 12 short stories. In the description you'll find a playlist which has the previous stories that we read, and also you'll find it above here. We read story number 1 called The Road Less Travelled By, which was a story about escaping the past. I'm not going to say much more. And then the second one, My Life as a Thief, which is again a story about feeling guilty about something. So you can check them out in the playlist. And today I'm going to be reading a third story, but not story number 3. Okay, I'm gonna be reading it I'm gonna be reading the stories not in a chronological order, but I'm gonna be reading a third story from the 12 stories in A Thousand Thoughts Like Thunder. Okay, so let's start. Bismillah. This story is called Time's Up. Okay, it's actually a shorter story and it's called Time's Up. Okay, so let me go to the page number, which is page 36, and from the title, Time's Up, what do you think it means? Okay, as I said, I'm going to be reading the story, and then at the end I can encourage you in the comments to give me your opinion, your ideas, your thoughts, and what you understood and what you liked, hopefully, about this story. Okay, so Time's Up. In a rush, I look into the mirror as I wear my shirt and tie. I think about it all. 5 minutes I had before I could leave. I think about friendship. Isn't it the best? I think about death. Isn't it the worst? Or is there another manual to this life? As for this guy, he was my best friend. Okay, maybe not my best friend, but he was certainly a close friend, wasn't he? Well, not that close perhaps, maybe just an acquaintance that I dealt with. Alright, to tell you the truth, he was a complete stranger. I saw him every day, yet I hardly knew him. But if you ask me to list the vices in him, I would need many pages. In my own eyes, he was the definition of vile, reckless, and selfish. Is that too big-headed of me to say that, or am I just being honest? You be the judge. Oppressing the weak, he relished in being at the top of the food chain, in this mad jungle of a world. Oh, if you know about the people he'd constantly torment, leaving them crying at the end of the night. He was one of those spoiled people who had a good reputation and a ton of money to get him exactly what he wanted and when he wanted it. Arrogant, always thinking that he was 2 notches above the others, that the rules of this universe were not made for him. I saw him defying God's nature in the way he roamed this earth. People of his kind were perhaps potentially dangerous for this world, like a time bomb about to explode and obliterate everything around it, leaving it all in perpetual disaster for the end of times. And so he passed from this world. Was it out of this blue? Yes. Or was it totally expected? Yes again. Like everything in this universe, he passed on like a whiff of wind in the air, like he'd never existed at all. And suddenly, all around him was sad. So what do people expect me to say? Am I supposed to go and pretend like everything is fine? That I should lie as I pay my condolences? That I truly wish him the best? That I will miss him? That his passing was because he was now in a better place? I laughed to myself at that notion. After all, how should I respect one who hardly respected others himself? He was very young, I know, and that's what really chills my bones. For oppression, I guess, is one thing that truly kills its doer, if on the inside at least. Okay, then why should I bother saying rest in peace if I don't even remotely mean it? Will it help? Why? When everyone knows that peace won't accompany him. It's on everybody's minds. Why? I repeatedly asked myself in the mirror. Yet something inside me had triggered. Was he not a person, like us all? Isn't that enough for me to actually fake care at least? Well, there's not much I can do, but I can at least show some respect for the dead. Right. What I saw of him was merely the cover to his own book, so I could have been mistaken anyway. Right. I tried to convince my reflection. Yes, to us all, he only appeared as this avaricious, self-centered guy who only cared about his whims. But I'm sure there was a deeper side to him. His family mourned a lot for his death. Isn't that sufficient proof that he was loved? Yes, his own death was not a pleasant one. He regrettably chose that way, and that was his decision. Alas, he undoubtedly wronged many people, but had he not got what he deserved? It was up to a higher power now to say what his fate was. I nod to myself in the mirror. Yes, mercy is good. Mercy is necessary, I say to myself. But is mercy better than justice? My reflection in the mirror seemed to ask me. I then shrug with a frown on my face, incapable of solving my own everlasting conundrum. Fair is foul, and foul is fair in this world of ours, I think to myself. I look into the mirror again and ask it one more time about what should be done. Maybe one last idea could pop into my mind, and as I do, I notice the reflection of the mirror clock behind me. My time was up. The end. Very, very good. Excellent. So this is the story of Time's Up. It's one of the stories. It's the third story for me to read, but it's not actually story 3 chronologically. What do you understand, if anything? Okay, the stories are getting more abstract and more vague and I guess harder to understand. What did you understand from this? Was he talking to himself? Was he talking to someone else? Who was he talking about? Why was he saying bad things about this person? If he's saying bad things about this person, is he being honest? And if he's being honest, does that mean that person is actually bad, or he's just mentioning his feelings? Is he being subjective? If I mention my feelings towards somebody or about somebody, then I'm being very, very subjective. But does that mean that I'm actually right? Is this the honest truth? Is the person really that bad, or is he just being subjective? What else? He tried to convince you using reasons. So he tried to use logical reasons to convince the reader and the audience, right, that this person was a bad person. Were you convinced? What else? If a person's family loves somebody, loves the family, love the person, does that mean he's a good person, right? Since when is love the criteria? That's another question, right? If a person loves me, then does that mean I'm a good person? Think about that. If a person hates me, then does that mean I'm a bad person? Okay, or is it just these are people's perceptions that have no value to them? Interesting, food for thought. Okay, what else? Other questions? What does the mirror represent? Because he's talking to himself in the mirror, right? What does the mirror represent? Yes, something else. What do you think is more important? Mercy or justice? Okay, mercy, of course, meaning what? Forgiveness, right? Forgiving a person, or justice, which means getting your right back. What do you think? A lot of questions, a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts. So please, if you liked this story, please give us a like, a share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And please comment down below in the comments. Please comment down below in the comments what you understood of this story and share your ideas with me. So that's us for today. Thank you very, very much. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Good.